Today in this video, it's time to take a magical trip to an enchanting place on a ride with one blue friend. Hello, how is everybody? And welcome back to On the Screen with Noah Deans. Today we're reviewing a Tank Engine's first and only theatrical movie heading to the big screen. That's right, we're reviewing Thomas and the Magic Railroad. So Thomas and the Magic Railroad is written and directed by Britt Allcroft. This is her first and only time to become a filming director for the movie. She's a producer along with Fehrle and Mark Jacobson as her co-producers. The movie stars Peter Fonda, Mara Wilson, Alec Baldwin, and Eddie Glen as Thomas. Now there's other shows and movies I sure enjoyed as a kid, that being Bob the Builder, Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, Nickelodeon shows, earlier Pixar movies, and of course, no shows or movies I certainly enjoyed as a kid, most of all being Thomas, the Tank Engine. Now for some reason, I never saw this movie in theaters. I was way too young to see it. My parents will not take me to see it. That would not be good. I was only one when this came out, but I did enjoy watching it later when it came out on VHS, DVD, and now on Blu-ray. It also was re-released on the big screen again back in 2020 for the movie's 20th anniversary. But I'm sorry to say I couldn't see it either because of the germ, which I won't say the name in this video. I'm here to talk about this movie and Britt Allcroft herself. She's best known for turning a series of books into a live-action model TV show in the UK and in the US by a man in England who brought these characters to life for his son who'd been sick, and to all the global people in the world as well. After making 4 seasons of the show and starting with a 5th season in between, Allcroft wanted to make a feature-length movie with Thomas and characters from the American show Shining Time Station to be in her film. I have to say, it seems like a really good idea. So she went on ahead and wrote the script for the movie. But after casting the actors for the characters, filming the movie, and wrapping up the project, there were a few issues. She took it to a screening for the test audience to watch and see. Unfortunately, they depicted the scenes with one character in particular. That, of course, is Doug Lennox as P.T. Boomer, the film's former main antagonist. There were also some scenes that they found confusing as well while watching it. Audiences find this character very too scary for children to see in a Thomas the Tank Engine movie. So they made Britt cut him from the movie and make a different version of her film. Like, come on, people! I don't find Boomer too scary for this movie. I mean, if I were one of those test audiences, I would let Allcroft release the movie in 2 separate cuts of the movie on different dates, keeping Boomer in the film in the original cut and the other being the final cut we got in theaters. But we've got the director's cut version on the movie's 20th anniversary Blu-ray release date back in 2020, and it looks pretty good, even if we see a little bit of Thomas in that cut. Now before I talk about the plot of the film, I just want to talk about my childhood life growing up watching the show, reading the books, playing with toy merchandise and other Thomas stuff. With me being a Thomas nut, I do enjoy the adventures this steam engine and his friends that they get into. The storytellers of the show, whether it's Ringo Starr, George Carlin, and Alec Baldwin, and many other narrators, they sure do a wonderful job telling the stories and acting out the characters. Plus in the show, Shining Time Station, either one of these actors, Starr and Carlin, would tell the kids the stories of them. It starts out with a segment of the show where it focuses on what the people and kids are doing in the station, Mr. Conductor appears and asks the kids about telling a story about Thomas and his friends. And then it cuts to an episode about the Blue Tank Engine and the others on Sodor. Now, the characters have their own voice actors for this movie and other future movies, and the CGI series of the show too. For the books, I either read the photographic books based on the show, or the illustration books brought to America drawn by these illustrators you see here. But I won't forget about Wilbert's books that he wrote for his son. I sure enjoyed the stories either listening to them online or reading them by myself at my own pace. The same goes for Christopher's books. The Audrey family sure do a good job bringing the Railway series to life for us Thomas fans. Lastly, growing up, any toy products of Thomas I enjoy playing with or collecting is either Wooden Railway, Take Along, Motorized Railway, and more. Both of these merchandise I definitely enjoy playing with a lot, and I still do today. Just need to get back to playing with them. So that's pretty much what my childhood is like growing up with Thomas. I enjoy the show still, but not the show that we are getting now today. We'll see if I want to cover it or not. Also, the 2 scripts of the movie that Britt worked on sure had a lot of changes she made. I haven't read them yet, but after reviewing this movie, even though I've seen these 2 drafts from other YouTubers reading them, talking about them in their videos, and hearing what they came up with them in order, I think it might be a good idea to read them myself and see how they turn out. With my talk about my childhood life and mentioning the draft of the scripts from May to August 1999 out of the way, let's start talking about Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Before this movie made its way to theaters, there's other characters in different shows that haven't gotten a first theatrical movie, the Blue Tank Engine included. Like, if Big Bird and Elmo from Sesame Street and Barney can get their own first feature film, why can't Thomas himself get a movie for a showing on the big screen? It needs to tell a story about him, his train friends, and some new characters based off of another show from us American audiences. Yet they did. What can I say? This movie comes along, and I was really obsessed with it. Of course, the general public, the critics, or the audience, nobody really liked this movie, but I'm not any one of those people. I would never give any disrespect to it. I mean, it does focus on the human characters instead of focusing on Thomas and his friends on the island of Sodor. But I think Britt sure did a pretty good job bringing the right amount of cast members in her movie. To start off, this focuses on our 4 characters of the movie. We got Mr. Conductor, played by Alec Baldwin, who has been around since he became our US narrator for season 5 and 6. Now in the movie, Mr. C looks after the railway while Sir Topham Hatt is away on vacation. And he lives at Shining Time Station, which he's a foot tall in the real world, but when he's on Sodor, he's normal human size. While looking after Thomas and his friends on the railway with Topham away, Mr. Conductor's magic gold dust he uses goes bye-bye, so it's not producing anymore. What can he do? He figures that he needs more so that the 2 worlds he travels to and from can stay around and the gold dust getting replenished. If he doesn't have any more gold dust, he'll be stuck in one place of the realm. So Mr. C phones his cousin Junior to bring him some more while he figures out how to bring the gold dust back. Michael E. Rogers as Junior does a very funny job playing this character. His accent sounds very funny too, since he is from Scotland in the UK. There's 2 more characters to talk about in the film before we talk about the plot itself. Next, we got the girl named Lily, played by Matilda star Mara Wilson. She's the granddaughter of Burnett Stone, but a dog named Mud guides her onto the wrong train while going to see him, who she hadn't seen in years, which is very silly. Also, this is her final movie as an actress. She retired from acting and did other work in her career like stage acting and she became a writer for filmmaking and stage production, but she wrote a book that involves about her life. I read it once from checking it out at a library, and I have to say, I sure enjoyed it. Lastly, Peter Fonda plays Burnett Stone, who I think did an okay job. Who would think he'd be playing a depressing character and not be that good? I mean, Burnett is good, but seeing him look sad sure doesn't really help. He lost his wife, he has a broken down engine named Lady, he needs to fix her, and with his granddaughter around, she could help him feel better. Now, there are more human characters and actors to talk about of this movie, but the four main cast are the ones I'll be talking of the plot. So what about the rest of the plot? We can't forget about the plot of Thomas and his friends on Sodor. We'll also add the human scenes as well, while we talk about the rest of the story. I won't say any negative things that's missing in this movie, but it really should be focusing on Thomas and his friends. Also, Edward has been absent the whole entire time. Where did he go? Did he take Sir Topham Hatt and his family on their vacation? Or what was the deal here? According to the co-producer of the movie, Phil Fehrle, there just wasn't enough screen time and opportunity to utilize Edward in a way that added valuable to the whole. Nothing more complicated than that. For Dave Axford, the visual effects producer of the film, said he didn't hear about Edward being in the film since he wasn't shipped to the set at all. The scenes of the movie with Thomas in it is that their faces don't move. I mean, they can talk and they have their own voices by the cast, but their faces and mouths do not move at all. According to Britt, there weren't enough effects to make them move. They essentially shot the expressions of their faces they put on them and added the audio of the voice cast in the film. I mean, if they were not talking, they would really have their mouths sealed and they wouldn't make a sound at all. So that's the only thing that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers others too, with the faces not moving without any effects or CG on them. Besides the scenes with Thomas in it, there are some scenes with the human characters as well, which some make sense and in which it doesn't. But that would take too long to talk about. I'm here to talk about the scenes focused on the trains. With the scenes switching back to the humans and then to the trains, the scenes with them shown is that the engines are trying to find the lost engine Lady, and Burnett protecting her because an evil diesel named Diesel 10 has found her once, and rightly does it again by destroying her. A rewrite plot to this character here. I mean to the villain characters, Boomer trying to find Burnett and his mystery engine, since he was jealous of Stone's happiness between the relationship of him and his wife. Diesel 10 was just a normal engine trying to get rid of Thomas and his friends and Lady herself. In reality, with Boomer originally being the main villain in his character depth, Diesel 10 just a silly mustache twirler villain causing havoc, but not at all the big baddie engine. Between these two, there's a chase scene that I absolutely love, and there are two different takes for this movie, even to oppose if Boomer was in or not in these scenes. To what's shown in theaters, however, we can see a model fig of him at the back of Diesel 10 when he turns a corner, and if you can see real close, he's right there. And he's also shown when Diesel 10 goes right into the tunnel too. Also, he is shown at a four-way shot of when Stacy brings Lily to her grandpa, and he drives off when I think Boomer says, "Thanks a lot," and he drives away on his motorcycle. So, P.T. Boomer did make it into the movie. Kind of. But at least he's in some teaser and theatrical trailers that I've seen online or on other Columbia TriStar DVD copies I've checked out at any libraries that the movie features with him in. even though this human character was chopped out. Britt Allcroft and company have decided to make an entirely different movie. Of course, there are some voice actors that need to be recast, but we will talk about them in a little bit. With Lennox's character not shown, Diesel 10 is our main antagonist that has been shown in the movie, but he's not terrible or worst. He's just good. At least, he's still a villain to me, and absolutely my favorite one in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. He does come back to being a villain again in another movie in a different era, but that's a different story. Same goes for the next model era movie after this one, which he's not the anti in this one at all. Again, save it in a different video. Now there's more actors for the humans to talk about being in the movie, but we'll see if we have time to talk about them. Let's continue some more with the plot and the characters. With the gold dust not producing anymore, Mr. Conductor goes in search of a windmill, although, don't we know which one? Yes, it's the grain windmill, where Diesel 10 grabs him, holds him on the side of the Big Dipper viaduct. Mr. C cuts a cable on his claw, and he escapes from him, with Diesel 10 throwing him. Geez, Diesel 10 just attempted murder by holding Mr. C off to the side there. He reached his destination by landing on some grain sacks. Along the way on his trip, he goes through a small garden and gets a handwritten note from some off-screen rabbit, and he eats 2 vegetables from it. Also, he uses bellflowers to call someone from far away when there's telephone booths at any station on Sodor. He does receive a call from Sir Topham Hatt in his office after leaving a letter on his desk that Mr. C reads. Mr. C makes it to the windmill, and he reads what the clues are saying on the bricks of the windmill, but after that he somehow asks where the writing have gone. He should remember them by now. There's 6 scenes where you see a poster of Sir Topham Hatt plastered on, in an Uncle Sam style form, saying that he needs whoever is helping on the railway for maintenance work, like strengthening the arches on the viaduct and the breakdown train doing track work to avoid the line being bumpy. In the beginning of the film, Thomas reads a sign at the station with Gordon there, asking him to have him read what it says. Everything is under repairs, even though he doesn't read the bottom part. He reads the top part and Topham's name. That was in one of the original scripts, which was sadly cut for time and couldn't have been read by the voice performer as Thomas of the dialogue. That would have been nice to hear from him. After the scenes with Mr. C and everything on Sodor, we're introduced to Lily visiting her grandpa and helping him restore his mystery engine so that the gold dust can be produced once more for the Conductor family. She meets Stacy Jones, who takes her to meet up with her grandpa. Patch, where the two of them ride on his horse to Shining Time before dusk, and she meets Junior the second time, where the two of them travel to Sodor, where they catch up with Junior's cousin. The Magic Railroad which the two of them travel on is inspired by the Green Tunnel, or the Tunnel of Love, located in Ukraine of a railway with overgrown bushes, trees, and beautiful greenery all around the track. The scene where they are traveling is them in CGI on a green screen, and the location looks very pretty, like it's being taken from a painting on a map or other artwork. They arrive on Sodor, and this is the first time Lily sees an island of talking trains and other vehicles around her. She meets Thomas, of course. They ride on him, and they set off to find Mr. Conductor. They find him at the windmill, and Mr. C thinks he knows the clue, but has a hard time figuring out the rest. The conductors get a call from Topham. Junior introduced Mr. C to Lily, and all of a sudden, Junior grabs onto the sails of the windmill and gets flown right off of it and lands on top of the back of Diesel 10, leaving his cousin and Lily with Thomas, which isn't very safe to hold on to. We cut back to Patch meeting up with Burnett Stone, and he asks him where Lily is, but he doesn't know where she is. Patch apologizes, and Burnett tells him not to worry and that they'll find her. Man, you're not concerned that your granddaughter is missing, Burnett? But he should know where she is and the place he went to, which we'll get to in a sec. After that, we're back on Sodor. Lily doesn't notice it's already nighttime, and Mr. C tells Lily that her grandpa can guess where she is. A little bit of talking goes on between the two of them, and Mr. C now remembers the first clue Lily mentions, and she knows the name of Burnett's mystery engine. The scene where the two of them are talking at the campfire scene, this feels like a niece and uncle moment when they talk about Shining Time and the Lost Engine too. Also, there's a work print scene that didn't make it in the final film where Lily asks Mr. C that he really loves Junior, which he chuckles and explains everything about him and being with someone in the family that you care about and love for in the bad times and the good, which Lily understands. Unfortunately though, this was cut for time here, but a nice scene here. In the scene to Burnett's workshop, this half part was shown way later where Patch noticed that the map is Lady's Magic Railroad, which somehow is fading away. The clothing they're wearing is shown at the beginning of the film and shown at the second act of the movie. They are shown in the same scene of the work print with the same clothing they have on, but was split in between two separate scenes for the final cut of the movie. Percy somehow is too late to guard the magic buffers. Splatter and Dodge finds them, and he warns Thomas about their plan. They need to take Lily home to her grandpa before Diesel 10 destroys the buffers to the railway. Thomas is the only one to take her home and through the buffers. They're back on the Magic Railroad again. Now, the crew members have Thomas on the green screen with the scenes of him and Lily on the Magic Railroad. It could have worked, though I think I would have preferred the CGI version of him in the final cut here. They also find the missing coal truck. They collect it and go through another set of buffers. Thomas has brought Lily home to Muffle Mountain on a cliff? This was supposed to be the scene where P.T. Boomer blows up the mountain and Thomas falls, with Boomer motorcycling after him through a portal back to the Magic Railroad. That unfortunately was cut due to the test audiences and has the wind blowing on Thomas, and he falls down the mountain and back through the portal. Lily finds her grandpa in the workshop and sees the mystery engine. Now they can steam her back up again. Back on Sodor, Junior uses the gold dust that he saves for Lily, escapes with James from inside the ironworks, which he'll get more. They're outside of the ironworks, Diesel 10 looking surprised, and they meet Mr. Conductor outside at the grotto. Ha! Nice try, Diesel 10. You're not scrapping James and hurting Junior. The Conductor family are completely out of gold dust. Burnett gets Lady fired up, steaming with special coal from the truck, and he, Lily, Patch, and Mud drive Lady through the Magic Railroad to the island of Sodor. While traveling through again, the Magic Railroad gets its energy back, and the bush tunnels around them fades back, with a beautiful world. Also, Lady's face appears, and she says her first word. Thomas shows up, he follows Lady and the humans back through the buffers, and back on Sodor. The humans reunite with Mr. C and Junior. They are not good yet. They have to outsmart Diesel 10 from destroying Lady. Splatter and Dodge, on the other hand, betrays their boss and abandons his plan. The chase scene of the movie is my absolute favorite, which is different from the original and the final cut. Thomas, Lady, and Burnett outsmart Diesel 10. Bon voyage, Diesel 10. Your time is up. Burnett Stone and the two tank engines return to the grotto, and Mr. Conductor figures out the second clue to bringing back the gold dust. They add the shavings to the water. They mix them in a pan, like panning for gold. Lily throws them in the air, and gold dust starts to form for Mr. C and Junior to collect. Junior gives Lily some gold dust, as he promised, and he tells his cousin that he is ready to do work. Mr. Conductor gives Junior his hat, and he sets off to a railway with palm trees and sunny spells. Before departing the grotto, Mr. C receives a call from Top Hat that he is on his way home, and Mr. C will welcome him back. Lily offers her grandpa some gold dust, and Burnett decides to share it with her on her Bluebird toy. The line, "We'll always remember our shining time together," is such a beautiful line, Fonda says, and I absolutely love it. The shot we see at the end is a shot of Lily, Patch, and their kids walking back to Shining Time in this scene here. With Lady and the Magic Railroad back to life, Shining Time is restored. Here in the last shot before the credits roll, Thomas puffs home into the sunset, and I sure love this shot at the end, and the line read by Baldwin, except it isn't the original line from the script or the narrator, but I love it. So that wraps up the plot of the film. It is a mess for some fans, but I sure enjoy it. Now there's 3 more human character actors to talk about before we talk about the voice cast performing the trains. Didi Khan as Stacy Jones, the manager working at Shining Time Station, and the way Khan plays her. She's very bubbly, friendly, and energetic. Her performance is wonderful, and she played Stacy in the original show Britt Allcroft created in the US. Also, there's a nice scene that she shares with Lily. Russell Means as Billy Two Feathers does a fine job performing him, but the executive of the movie finds him very quiet and hard to hear what he's saying. I have to say he's fine, and not a bad actor. I mean, Billy himself is an engineer, and Means playing his character drives a 480 Mastodon-class locomotive located in Strasbourg. Man, that's some hefty work there. Lastly, we have Patch, played by Cody McMains. He performs very good as Patch. He discovers Burnett's workshop and hideout. He knows his way around the area, and he befriends Lily while riding their way to Shining Time. How did you find me here? So that's the human characters, but we're not done here. I can't forget about the voice actors who voiced Thomas and his friends. Besides the humans, it would be a mistake if I didn't talk about them. Eddie Glen voices Thomas in the final cut of the movie. His voice is perfect for the blue tank engine. Originally, John Bellis, a part-time taxi driver, was supposed to voice Thomas in the original cut, but the test audiences didn't like his voice. He was cut because it sounded too old for the character. He's still credited in the movie as transportation coordinator. Eddie Glen as Thomas is my favorite actor for him, and definitely does a pretty great job too. Along with Glen, Neil Crone and Kevin Frank voice 4 or 3 characters each, and I have to say, they do a good job too. Neil Crone voices Diesel 10. He is alright in the movie, but he is very funny voicing this character. He's supposed to sound Russian for the accent, but it's a Jersey accent, so that's okay. I wonder what a Russian one would sound like if he did do an accent like it. But that's not recorded by Crone, so you'll not be finding that anywhere online. Before Neil Crone was cast here, Keith Scott, an Australian actor, was the original voice for Diesel 10. But like Lennox, the test audience made the character sound too frightening for the film's target audience. Although his voice is still heard in some of the trailers, I prefer his replacement actor. To finish off the Diesel engines here, Crone and Frank each voice the goofy henchmen working for Diesel 10, that being Splatter and Dodge. Each of these actors voice these two respectfully, which both of them sound very similar to each other, and it feels like they have the exact same performance. Lastly, Crone voices Gordon the Big Express engine, although it kind of does sound pompous and motivating, but all in all, Crone voicing Gordon does a good job. To end Kevin Frank here, he voices Birdie and Harold. Of course, Harold the helicopter is shown for a short shot here, and Birdie can be seen and spoken in 3 scenes of the movie. Lastly, there's Henry the Green Engine, who of course doesn't make any sense of the engine depicting himself being sick. I mean, wasn't Henry's weakness fixed years ago, either in the books or the show itself? But anyways, Frank voicing Henry in the film is alright, but not a bad performance for him. There's 4 more left here, and I'll keep the voice cast brief as I go along. We're 3 actors down here, folks. Since Edward isn't shown in the movie, which I wish he was, the other wisest engine in the movie is Toby. The actor voicing him is Colm Feore. He's absolutely 100% amazing voicing the tram engine. It's smooth and mature. Michael Angelis, the show's longtime UK narrator, not being in the film because the test audience not liking his voice, he was replaced with Linda Ballantyne and Susan Roman voicing Percy and James respectfully. It's okay, but it's strange to hear 2 female actresses voicing 2 male characters. Ballantyne as Percy is good, but James, it would be nice if Angelus was used for the voice, but I'm not going to disregard Roman's voice or Ballantyne's either. These 2 worked very well together. Shelley Elizabeth Skinner voices Thomas's coaches Annie and Clarabelle, which sadly, we only hear them say 1 line when Thomas leaves them for Percy to collect later. But she makes a cameo at the end of the movie as a customer getting her ticket from Stacy, and she's part of the crew for the movie as an associate producer working alongside Britt Allcroft. And speaking of Britt Allcroft, she voices Lady the Lost Engine, which she was not intentionally supposed to speak, but it's nice to give her a voice. Other fans argue she has no development in the role, but she should not be neglected and sounds very good. So now that covers the voice artists of the movie. I hope that didn't take too long to talk about. I just don't want to leave any actor out and their performance in the movie. They sure did a great job for their roles. With that out of the way, before we talk about the places and locations, let's talk about the score and the songs for the movie. For a bad production of a movie here, the score really slaps. Originally, John Barry was supposed to be the composer for the film, though he left the project for other scheduling conflicts. But his name is credited on the 1999 teaser poster here. His replacement is Hummy Man, which I personally prefer for this movie. He does a very great job, and the score he composed is original. Love the intro scene, and the next one is of Thomas and Lily on the Magic Railroad collecting the missing coal truck. It's all altered by him in the style from Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell's score from the show that I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong though, they'll always be my favorite, and they're on the official soundtrack. There's other music and scores that involve each character. Lily and Patch is the score of I Know How the Moon Must Feel, Burnett and Lady, Some Things Never Leave You, and Diesel 10, whether with his two goofy diesel henchmen or with Mr. C, there's no song accurate to the score. It is very upbeat and mysterious. Don't know if there's one for Junior and Mr. C here. They are just shown in the scene with them added to make the score work here. Otherwise, it's good. Including the last one where they get Lady steaming again, the chase, and the happy ending, where the movie wraps it up. That is also my third other favorite score I love. Hummy Man, you did a great job here, my friend. To finish up this part here, the songs that are featured are ones I can't forget about in the movie. Shining Time, there are two different versions and singers for this song. Neil Donnell sings the first one at the beginning of the film, and Maren Ord sings the reprise version in the end credits. It's the only one featured on the official soundtrack album with Ord performing here. I Know How the Moon Must Feel, sung by Dana Manning, is the song that focused around Lily when she is traveling to Shining Time, but meant to be on the train to Muffle Mountain. Still, Manning's singing voice sounds beautiful. Some Things Never Leave You by Joe Henry isn't really a full song in the movie, but it can be heard on the soundtrack. Nice dedication to Peter Fonda's character and his passing wife, which I would like to see in the final cut here. Summer Sunday, there's 5 singers for this song. I can't mention them all. I'm not going to take forever to talk about, but they will be listed on screen right here. It's a nice relaxing feeling to be out on the beach when you want a vacation or something to get away from. Something that Junior likes, even if he was called to help Mr. C out. Again for the song, a few minutes heard in the movie. It can be heard on the official soundtrack. It's a soothing song to hear. Now there's one more song featured in the end credits, Locomotion by Atomic Kitten. I'll keep this brief. It's not the best. It's just alright. My favorite song in the film is another Thomas Style-esque song featured in the final cut and on the official soundtrack album is Really Useful Engine. It's sung by Stephen Page and the 5 children from the season 4 version of the song. Don't get me wrong either, the original one will always be great, and it will always be a classic. The Adventure Begins' number is good, which will be in a different video for next time, but Magic Railroad's version is my favorite one here, and it always will be. To finish up the movie's work here, Paul Ryan's cinematography work is amazing, and the locations are perfect places and countries. The one location I think is the best is Castletown Railway Station in Castletown on the Isle of Man, with added wooden sides to make it look like Shining Time Station, and doors added in the center of the building. Here, it's just a stone brick station, and the railway tracks next to it are run by narrow gauge. Besides this location being filmed, there are 4. 2 of each were filmed in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and in Strasbourg, Pennsylvania, USA. And we all know where Strasbourg is home to, the place of, yes, the Day Out with Thomas event, which you can still go and visit, plus other special events to where he is around in your town. Filming the model sets is brilliant. David Mitton, Steve Asquith, and all the other model crew members on the set did a great job. There's a lot of model locations of the set while they were shooting in Toronto, Canada, but I can't mention all of them. I can name a few, just not all of them. 5 of them, which were updated, are Knapford Station, Henry's Tunnel, with tracks above it, Sodor Ironworks, Tidmouth Sheds, also part of the maintenance work on the railway for its rebuild, and the watermill. Although, did they not use a motor or something to make the wheels spin, or something to have water coming out? They did that in the first 3 seasons and later seasons, though not here in the movie. Killaban Station and Yard are the only locations shown in the movie, but never in the whole show entirely. The rail and road under the rail bridges props are just reused ones of Henry's Tunnel and Bulgy's Bridge, which we only see once here. After this, they just go back to what they were originally in the show. New locations in the movie of the props are the Big Dipper Viaduct, Dieselton's Mountain, which he carves in from his claw, Rainbow Ridge, the Magic Buffers, and the Sodor Wishing Well. 2 of the new ones I would have to choose the most from here are Dieselton's Mountain and the Big Dipper. Man, the mountain looks exactly like him, all carved in. The viaduct, I would have to say, is massive. If any train character would cross it, it would be risky, which they did in the chase scene sequence here. In that scene, I never realized they added a fishing wire to the prop. Although, you have to make the prop collapse after Thomas and Lady crosses it and Diesel 10 falls off it, which I have to say I love it. But would it ever have gotten repaired after the engines crossed it from being old and crumbly? I would have. And it is unknown if it was repaired afterwards. The prop was used later in 2 different episodes in the spin-off series of Jack and the Pack. Nice to see it make a brief appearance some years later right after the movie and use it somewhere on set. So overall for Thomas and the Magic Railroad, some people have different opinions of it. It may not be a great performance in theaters, a complete success to any of them, or won an Oscar or Grammy, or being nominated. It's not the worst movie on the planet. I say it's really great. Whether it's not focused around the talking trains, not being canon, ruins the magic elements, focuses around the human characters, and not centered around Thomas, it's just great. I don't find it that bad. Even if Britt Allcroft had it centered around Shining Time, with a human conductor finding more gold dust, a man feeling depressed about his engine, and trying to get her working again, with the help from her granddaughter, I would choose her directing this movie than any of the other directors for later projects of the show. Though one of, I think, did a great job, which we'll talk about in a later video, but I would choose Britt because if she brought the show to life from the books, then she would bring them to life in a movie from start to finish. The cast in the film sure talked about their positive work on the film and working with Britt themselves and the global audiences when it first premiered. If you or anybody enjoyed it when they were growing up, I mean, I sure did, even seeing it only on VHS and DVD. Parents, if you have kids, and if they watch the first 5 seasons of the show, make them see this movie next before they go on to the next season. As long as they understand the whole thing, and maybe they'll have a good time with it. For the grading, I'm going to go ahead and give Thomas and the Magic Railroad an A+. I am really glad I don't dislike this movie. I definitely would give it a lot of respect. In fact, it would be my #1 favorite movie entirely. But if only those test audiences wouldn't make Britt cut out the scenes that she filmed as a work print, it would have made the whole movie a lot more sense. And at least she made a pretty movie that's nice to look at. Now, before I wrap this video up here, I know it's been 4 years since the 4-part 20th anniversary celebration version of these videos was uploaded and then taken down, but Rainbow Sun Productions, is there a way I can see your guys' video presentation from you? You all did a great job acting the characters and the script narration. No? Okay. Also, if anybody can bring this movie back to the big screen again, Fathom Events, or anybody at Marcus, I would love to see it in theaters for real, even though it just came back for its 20th anniversary screening event. Lastly, before I forget, whenever I get this video out, it already has been October 29th and past October. What I'm about to show on screen here, I would like to say, Happy 40th anniversary, Thomas. I know I'm very late for this event and didn't think of anything to celebrate the Blue Tank Engine and his friends' anniversary being on TV. Besides, reviewing the first Thomas movie, I thought I would briefly mention how this character and his friends helped me through my childhood life. Still, happy 40th anniversary, Thomas. Thank you to all your friends for being a part of my life and for being a true blue friend. Instead of the movies that I'll review of the franchise, I think I'll want to review all of the 24 seasons of the show as a series or a TV show review series. We'll see as we keep going. 1 Thomas movie down, 13 to go. I'm not counting the 3 other movies from the All Engines Go series either, because it isn't Thomas there. Same goes for the episodes of the reboot too. Stick with the original show here. Well, we have reached the end of our on-the-screen movie review video here. Say it with me now, everybody. It's time for all of us to go home. Just like Thomas. Anyways, that wraps it up here. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a magical day, everybody. Bye-bye.